Hello, budget baker friends. I may sound a little bit different to you today because I am sporting a new microphone. I think you heard that. So I have a very fun, budget-friendly video today. Today we're doing 3 different varieties of chocolates that are perfect for any holiday, okay? So the 3 different chocolates that we're going to make are vanilla chai, um, ca cafe mocha, which has coffee in it, and Reese's peanut butter cups. So let's get going. So first of all, let me tell you that these are definitely budget friendly. You probably have all of the spices in your cabinet. I did. And so the most expensive thing with these recipes are going to be the chocolate or the candy melts, whichever you choose to use. The first recipe, we're using white candy melts. The first recipe we're going to do is the vanilla chai. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to go over this with you in just a moment. So the bag of candy melts, you can get them on sale, or you can, pay regular price. Either way, you're going to pay a few dollars per bag. And then you probably already have some type of candy molds. I have them for every holiday and every season, but I'm just going with some generics today. And so this whole bag would probably make a couple of dozen candies, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to just fill up 1 mold per candy variety today. All right, so let's just get started, okay? So what I've got here is a homemade double boiler. This is how I like to melt my chocolates. Some people like to melt them in the microwave. I like to do it this way. So I've got, well, you could see here, my rice pot. Inside the rice pot, I've got a metal colander. And then inside the metal colander, I've got a glass bowl. And in the bottom of the pot, I've got about, I don't know, maybe like 2 inches of water. Because I can see the water in the colander, but you don't want it to touch the bowl because it's going to boil, and the heat and the steam is actually what melts the chocolate. Okay, let's get started, friends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1 cup of the white candy melts, vanilla flavor, and we're going to put them right inside the double boiler. And my job right now is to stand here and stir. So that is what I'm going to do. Before they start melting, you want to go ahead and add your spices. So let's do that. I want to show you this adorable little spoon set that I have. So we're going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, which is called a tad. I don't know if you can see that. And then the other spices that we use, we're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon, which is called a dash. Are these not adorable? They're like itty bitty. Okay, so let's add a tad of cinnamon. The most we're going to add is cinnamon. So we're going to be adding cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves to our chai chocolates today. All right, so let's sprinkle our cinnamon on there. You know what? I'm using 2 tads of cinnamon. So I used 1/4 of a teaspoon 2 times. All right, then we got our nutmeg. We're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon because the flavor of the nutmeg is pretty strong. So like I said, this is a dash. I smell that. And then we're going to add another dash of ginger. Okay. And then we've got some cloves here that we're going to add. And I love the smell of cloves. And I'm going to just do the tad, which is 1/4 of a teaspoon of the cloves. All right. Now we've got our spices added, our spiciness. And now we're going to stand and stir. And what's going to happen is, because we put the spices in before we melted the chocolate, it is really going to help incorporate the spices into the chocolate. All right, friends, here I go. I'm going to stand here and stir. And then once it gets melted, I will pop back. All right, so what I did was I brought my water to a boil and I allowed it to boil while I melted the chocolate. And now I have actually turned it off. All right, so what I'm going to do you guys have these little spoons like in your silverware drawer? I have a few of them. I don't remember where I got them or even why, but they're perfect for when I'm spooning chocolate into my molds. So that's what we're going to use. All right, so I'm going to set this over here. I've got my mold. This one has different shapes. All right, so I'm going to take my little spoon and I'm going to spoon my chocolate into the mold. And I have to tell you, it smells really good standing here right now. All right, so the water is still kind of boiling a little bit, even though I've turned it off, and that's fine. So you're going to fill up each of the little molds, and I'm going to clean them up after I get them full, okay? I'm funny like that. I like to have things nice and neat and even. All right? So fill up as many as you can. Like I said, I used 1 cup of the candy melts. If you use the whole bag, clearly you'll get more. Sorry, that was probably kind of loud. But I just wanted to make enough so I could show you guys how to do it. Because these are great to give as holiday gifts. And they're great to put on like your holiday cookie platters. Like I said, any holiday. We have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. And these are just ideal. All right. And different candy molds are like, they vary in size, I guess. And so these actually take a decent amount of chocolate to fill. So these chocolates are going to be good 2-biters. All right. So there we go. I've got that full. Let me move this over here. And it's really messy. See how messy it is? It won't be messy for long. So I've got a scraper. And that's what I'm going to use to try and even them out. All right. So I'm just rubbing it across the top. Now, mind you, these are going to be the bottoms of the chocolates. But we still want them nice and neat, right? Don't we? I do. All right. This one needs a little bit more of something. Hold on. This one just needs a little bit more. There we go. Now, I will let you take a look at this. Again, I'm just going like corner to corner, making sure everything is full. Because I'm so funny like that. Because I don't like to waste. Okay. Nice. All right. Oh, I just made a mess on the stove. Okay, look at that. They're now flat. They're not a mess anymore. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it in the fridge. And I'm going to let those set. And I'm going to get this cleaned up. And then we're going to start on our next batch. Next, let's do the coffee flavored chocolates, mocha latte. All right, be back in a minute. And we're back. This time we are making mocha latte chocolates. And for this recipe, I have chosen to use the Ghirardelli dark chocolate discs. And I've got them going already in my double boiler. So I got everything cleaned up, and then I got the water boiling again in the double boiler, and my chocolate is melting. And what I've got now is I've got instant coffee that I'm going to add. Now, if you do not want to have like regular instant coffee, you can find decaffeinated instant coffee to add to this recipe. And I like mine like super coffee flavored because I love coffee. But to be honest, when I drink coffee in the morning, I drink decaf. Yeah, I cut caffeine out of my life years ago. But for things like this, I don't mind. You know, if I'm going to have a piece of chocolate and it has some, you know, caffeine in it, it's fine. All right, so this is melting away here. I have to say that I always prefer melting dark chocolate as opposed to the white chocolate. I think it just melts better, even the discs. I know that sounds crazy, but the last chai lattes were very thick. The chocolate was very thick, and this time I've got my regular consistency back, which is just your standard melted chocolate consistency. Like I said, the white chips were just kind of on the thicker side. All right, so this is almost melted. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my coffee. So I'm just going to use a regular tablespoon. So I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon since we only used 1 cup of chocolates. And this one, you can add the chocolate, you can add the instant coffee at the beginning or like I just did now. The key is, though, you do want to give it enough time to melt because you don't want to taste the coffee granules, like the crunchy coffee granules in the chocolates. So I would definitely add the instant coffee more toward the beginning of this process. But my chocolate still has a little bit of time to melt. It still needs to melt a little bit. Okay, so let me finish melting this so I don't bore you, and I'll be back. All right, friends, I have got my chocolate all melted up with my coffee granules in there. So I have turned down the heat. Actually, I turned off the heat to the stove. And this time I've got little squares. That's what we're using for these chocolates. Now, when I make several varieties of chocolates, I do like to use different shaped molds. This way I know exactly what's what. I can differentiate. So for instance, I've also done the white chocolate with the coffee, like instead of using dark chocolate. And so I would use different molds for the chai latte and the white chocolate with the coffee so I'd know, which one was which. Hopefully that just made sense and it wasn't a lot of jibber jab. Basically, use a different mold for each different flavor. That's it. All right. So here we go. These are looking good, filling up. And like I said, I like to use up all the chocolates as to not waste because you guys know, like, chocolate isn't cheap. Even the discs aren't cheap, although you can find them on sale at like arts and crafts stores like Michael's, AC Moore, Hobby Lobby. You can find these on sale there. And when they do go on sale there, I highly recommend you stock up. So that's what I like to do. I like to stock up when they're on sale. All right, so I'm just making sure that I've got these full to the tippy top because when I take the scraper and scrape, I want to be able to get them flat. And if the chocolate is too low below the opening, I won't be able to do that. All right, let me grab my scraper, my clean scraper. Oh, something I wanted to share with you guys though is that for instance, when I'm cleaning everything in between the different flavors, you have to make sure that there's absolutely no water left on anything. because especially like in the bowl, you have to make sure it's completely dry before you add your new discs of chocolate, because the water will definitely mess it up and cause it to seize and like harden. And we don't want that. Sorry if that was loud. I forgot I had a microphone on today. All right. And it's okay if it's a little messy on the mold. It's just, I want to make sure that I can get it scraped flat. All right. Looking good. This one needs a little more chocolate, I think. Well, I don't think, I know, because it's not flat. So let me do that. Where am I going to put you? Hold on. There. Actually, I scraped some off here. I could just use that. There we go. All right, lovely. Let's give her a little tap. Nice. Check out how flat that is. No peaks there. All right, I'm going to get this in the microwave and get set up for our Reese's peanut butter cups. Yes, we are making homemade Reese's peanut butter cups, and I'm going to be back to show you how. Are you ready for some Reese's peanut butter cups? Homemade Reese's peanut butter cups? Okay, so here's our Reese's mold. It's a peanut butter cup mold. I have a couple of these actually. And for these, we are actually using Almond Bark, which comes in a cute little package like this. I've used, actually, this would have been this way. So I've used half of the package. I do like the almond bark for this recipe. So I've got 4 squares here that I'm going to put in the double boiler. I've got my stove turned up to high. The water just started to boil. So I am going to stand here and melt this. But I want to tell you that I've already prepared the filling for the peanut butter cups. So what I do is, you can do this in a bowl. I just did it on a plate because it's what I had out. And what you do is you take equal parts peanut butter and powdered sugar, and you mix them together. And it does take a few minutes to properly combine these together. So that's what we've got here. I used about 1/4 of a cup of each to make the filling for today, because I'm only making a few Reese's cups. And so I am going to stand here, and again, I'm going to stir. I'm getting my arm workout in today. And I will be back when this is melted. All right, so my almond bark has melted down beautifully, if I may add. It really does melt nicely. So I've turned off the stove. And I was thinking, almond bark is approximately $3 to $4 a package, depending on when and where you get it. And peanut butter, you can get a jar of peanut butter for $2 or $3. Powdered sugar is usually about $2 for a big bag. So put that all together, let's say $5, $7, $9 for all the ingredients here. And you're going to have ingredients left over. You're not going to use a whole jar of peanut butter for this. And you're not going to use a whole bag of powdered sugar. I mean, I suppose you could if you wanted to just make endless, peanut butter cups. All right, so this looks really great. So now I'm going to show you how to put it together. So I'm going to take my little spoon again and my mold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spoon full of the melted chocolate and just put it in the bottom of the mold. I'm going to start out by making like 6. And then we'll see how many more we can make, because we need chocolate for the bottoms and the tops, obviously. Okay? So there's 5 and there's 6. All right? So I'm going to tap it down. All right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my peanut butter, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pinch off a little piece of peanut butter, probably about the size of a nickel. And then I am going to form it, I'm going to show you, into like a little disc. And I'm going to place that disc. Here, I can show you. I'm going to place that disc right in the center. All right, so I'm going to go through and do the rest that way. Now, this time I'm going to make my disc a little bit flatter so it covers more area, and I'll show you. So I used the same amount, but I made it just a little bit bigger. See how it takes up more area? I'll probably add a little bit more to that first one. And to be honest with you, 1/4 of a cup of peanut butter and 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar makes a good amount of filling. Now, let me tell you a little secret. So you can also use Nutella or any type of like chocolate hazelnut spread to make this as well. I've done it before and they were delicious. So I did the same thing. I took the hazelnut spread and added an equal amount of powdered sugar to that, and I created the filling with that. Oh, it was yummy. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take another scoop of chocolate and put it over the peanut butter filling. Cover it up a little bit. All right, so I've got it covered. I'm going to give it a little tappy just to flatten them out really good. And there you have it. But I do have more, so I am actually going to do the rest of the mold. These are really delicious. You know, I have a certified cottage bakery here, and I've done porch pop-ups and farmers markets, and I did a lot of like pop-up bakeries in the area, and I typically will make these to have, and they always sell out. They do. I think people don't realize they need them in their life until they see them on your table to buy. All right. Looking good. Okay. So I've got those filled. Now I'm just going to top them with the chocolate. And this chocolate is still melted down beautifully. And it's been sitting. That's the thing about the almond bark. I know some people don't like to use almond bark because technically it's not like really chocolate, you know, like the others. Although there's no almond in it either, which I've come to learn. Anyway, I like it. And I like to use it like when I make hot cocoa bombs too, because you don't have to temper it. It's just ready to be melted and go. All right. So there we have it. We have our peanut butter cups, which are going to go in the fridge. And then when I come back, I will have everything cleaned up and we will go through and take a look at everything we made and, of course, give them a taste. Okay, so I'll be back. Hey guys, I am going to include the clip where I removed all of the chocolates from their molds. I will do a quick voiceover after this snippet of our video. And the reason for that is because my new microphone stopped working. So I removed all the chocolates, gave you little tips and tricks and this and that, tasted the chocolates, and my microphone was not on. But it's okay because, like I said, I am going to do a voiceover for that after this, but I am going to step up to the camera right now and show you our goodies, just in case I don't get to that in the voiceover. So here's our Reese cup, or our peanut butter cup. Here is our mocha latte. And here is one of our chai lattes. Right? So there you have it. Everything came out beautiful. Everything was delicious. I did taste them for you. You just can't hear me. But everything came out delicious. And something that I shared at the end of the video is these are ideal to give as gifts from the kitchen. What I like to do is I like to put a piece of saran wrap down, take a few chocolates, stack them up, tie it on top with a ribbon or maybe an old bread tie that we keep. You know, we have a drawer full of those. And it's a really cute gift, like a thank you gift, a gift for your neighbors. If you're invited to go to a party or a gathering or get together, these are perfect to bring because everybody can just pick up a piece and pop them in the mouth. And they're delicious. And anything that's been made in the kitchen with love is a priceless gift. I love giving them. I love receiving them, and they're just perfect. You saw it didn't take me long to prepare them. The longest thing was the cleanup in between, and then waiting maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 tops for them to set up in the fridge. Now, something I shared that I'm going to share again is you will know when they are done because they will have a matte finish on top. When I checked the Reese cups, or the peanut butter cups, excuse me. I need to stop saying that. When I first checked them, the inside of each cup was still shiny. So I knew they weren't ready to come out yet. When they turned matte on top, I knew that they were done. And that goes for all of the chocolates. Okay? So if you guys have any questions for me, comments, if you love the recipes, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I will add either the handwritten or the typed out recipe for you in the description, or I will link to my old food blog so that you can click on that and get the recipe. So something I always want to make sure I do is include the recipes for the videos. So I'll include them one way or the other. And I would absolutely love for you to subscribe to my channel. If you are interested in baking, budgeting, budget baking, or just new recipe ideas, okay? So thank you so much for being here. Happy baking! Okay guys, here I am removing the vanilla chai chocolates from the silicone mold. Sometimes they can give you a hard time, but the key is to press on the underside and they will pop right on out of there. Now it's time for a taste test. So I cut a piece off. Actually, I didn't cut a piece off yet. I'm going to show you what it looks like up close. There you have it. Those came out a little on the funky side because the chocolate, like I told you earlier, was a little bit thicker. I mean, they still came out okay, but they looked a little funky. Anyway, so here I am cutting a piece, and then I'm going to taste the piece. And I can tell you right now that I thoroughly enjoyed it, that I could taste all of the delicious spices, and it was maybe insanely good is a good way to explain that one. Here I am unmolding the mocha latte chocolates, which were made in a mold that is a bit older, so they were a little bit harder to get out, but I still managed to do it, got all of them out in one piece. Here you have it up close. Check out the shine on that piece of candy. That looks really good. And now for the taste. I have to tell you that I do like a stronger coffee flavor in these chocolates, and I did get that as soon as I bit down on the chocolate. It was absolutely delicious. Next up, last but definitely not least, are my peanut butter cup chocolates. They came out of the mold super easy. That mold is actually a newer mold, even though it's still plastic like the older one that I have, and the candies do pop out pretty easily. So here we are with an up close and personal of the peanut butter cup. Looks just like it, right friends? Check that out. Shiny and pretty. And now for the taste. And I can tell you this right now, it was filled with peanut butter and it tasted just as good, if not better, than a peanut butter cup that you can buy in the store. I highly, highly recommend you try these.